audio.
Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of the Kneehill Scoop, Kneehill County's official podcast. My name is Christine, and I'm your host. Today is May 30th, and it is a scorcher out there. I hope that you've been enjoying the beautifully hot days we've been having lately. A little taste of summer to come, perhaps. Speaking of summer, our ratepayer evenings are coming up. I don't know why I said that. They have nothing to do with summer, but they are coming up. June 12th in Huxley and June 19th in Horseshoe Canyon. This is the last time I get to tell you about them on the podcast. So yes, make sure you join us 4 to 7 p.m., both locations. We'll have some supper. We'll have all of our staff and council will be there as well. Come out, ask us your questions, give us some feedback, and maybe win a door prize or two. We have a workshop coming up. It's called All About Trees. So you can join us for an afternoon with Tazo Bozic. Tazo, if you're listening, I hope I'm not butchering your name. Anyway, he is an expert in tree care and management, and he's going to teach you all about tree health and maintenance, proper pruning techniques, and pest identification. So that is Tuesday, June 24th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Wimborne Community Center. $25 will get you in, and you can register through Eventbrite. The link is on our Facebook page. I will also include the link on our podcast webpage so you can easily access it there. Our roadside mowing program has continued in 2025. So we did this for the first time last year, but we'll be continuing it again. And so what this roadside mowing program does, it helps control invasive weeds like kochia, which can be an issue. We've split the county into 4, southwest, southeast, northeast, and northwest. If you want to see a map, there's one on our website or our social media just to kind of see which quadrant you fall into. So the contractor is going to start in the southwest part, and then they're going to move counterclockwise around the county. So yes, starting in the southwest, then they'll head to the southeast, then the northeast, and then the northwest. So make sure you stay tuned to our website and our social media for progress updates. We will be updating you as they move around the county. Otherwise, don't forget that our scholarship program is now accepting applications. And you know what? This is the last time I get to tell you about this too. June 30th, that's the day. I know I've been harping on this for the last 5 episodes of the Kneehill Scoop, but make sure you get your applications in and get some money towards your secondary education. Our road bans have been updated as of today, Friday, May 30th at 9 a.m. So all of them are lifted. All of them are at 100% except for the airport road, which is Range Road 23-4 from Highway 583 south to the airport, aptly named. And then the PBI road, which is Range Road 24-0 from the town of Three Hills north to Township Road 32-2. Those remain at 75%. That's a year-round restriction. Well, gang, we finally did it. We got finance to come in and join us for our podcast. So today we have Rajeana Nyman. She's our property tax administrator. And we also have Marika von Mirbach, and she's our manager of financial planning. So welcome, ladies. Thank you for joining me today. Female dream team here. Let's dive right into some dollars and cents. So when are the 2025 tax notices mailed out?
So the tax notices this year are mailed out on May 30th.
Oh, that's today.
That is today.
Oh,
yes.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. And they're also emailed out today. So we're hoping there's no interruptions, that you'll be getting your tax notices. The latest, we're thinking June 6th, if everything goes okay.
Okay, perfect. I'm sure everyone is relieved to know that your tax notices are on the way. When are property taxes due?
So property taxes are due upon receipt, and the final day to pay every year is on Halloween. So that's October 31st. So to avoid any penalties, you want to make sure that they are all paid out before trick-or-treating.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. So what happens if someone misses that payment deadline?
So if you miss the payment deadline of October 31st, there is a 2% penalty that gets applied November 1st. Yeah. So basically we notify everybody by June of the note, like how much are due. Mm-hmm. And then the last day to pay is at October 31st.
So speaking of payments, are there any payment arrangements or support programs for residents who might be struggling financially?
Yes. So in 2023, council passed a bylaw allowing people 1 year in arrears to enter into an agreement to repay the amount owed. Council agreed to waive all penalties to any residents who are approved for this plan by application. All of the information on this plan is available on our website for review. And you can also contact myself if you want to be a part of that program. And I will look up the amounts that are owed and come up with a minimum rate that you would need to pay. You have about 24 months that you can pay, and by the end of it, you're paid in full.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So if they just call the office, that number is 403-443-5541 and ask to talk to Rajeana Nyman, and she will hook you up with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what options are available if someone hasn't received their notice due to, like, if the postal strike does go through?
Yeah, so if an unfortunate event happens, there's many options. You can always come to the Kneehill County office and get a reprint or find out your balance. And we also have a new program, Kneehill Connect. This allows residents to look up their notifications on a virtual county office. It's available through our website and is available 24 hours a day. You can pay your bills, check your account balances anytime. And it's not just for taxes. You can look up utilities, general accounts, your bulk water, dog licensing, and hopefully have more in the future. And we've seen great success with that program, and we're hoping to see it grow further. If you don't want to wait for the mail, you can log in right now, go onto our website and go through Kneehill Connect, and you'll be able to access your tax notice today.
Well, that's brilliant. That's super convenient for residents. And so that kind of goes into my next question. That's how they sign up for e-billing, or is that different?
Yes, you can sign up through Kneehill Connect through e-billing. So if you go onto our website, there's options just to fill out a form to sign up for e-billing. And you can also do it yourself through the Kneehill Connect portal.
Also through Kneehill Connect, can you sign up for the TIPS program?
You can.
Yeah. And what is that program?
Yeah, so our TIPS program is a tax installment payment plan program, and it runs from January till December. And what it does is it breaks out your taxes into 12 payments instead of one lump sum. And you can pay them through automatic withdrawals right out of your account. And then what happens every year, if your taxes change, you get notified on your tax bill of what your new tip amount would be.
Right.
Yeah, so this just eliminates you having to make that one large lump sum payment by October 31st. You can just break it out into 12, and it's much more convenient.
Yeah, it's very budget friendly.
Yeah, and you can register yourself through the Kneehill Connect, or you can contact us and we can get you registered if you're not comfortable.
Oh, so yeah, if you are on TIPS and you're getting your tax notice, it's important to note that that's not like an amount owed that will be on your notice. That's just telling you what is your monthly payment.
Yeah, that confuses a lot of people. And there's a box on the bottom of your tax notice, and it'll say what your tip amount is. So if you have no dollar value there, then you're not on the TIPS program. But if you are on the TIPS program, it tells you what your payments are going to be in that little box. It'll say tip program, and then it'll have an amount in there.
And so once people get their tax notices, can they be paid through online banking or at financial institutions?
Yes, they can be paid through online banking, just like any other bill.
And you just put in, it's like you pick taxes, don't you? Like if you're doing it online?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 3 options when you go into your bank. And you'll see Kneehill County taxes, general, and utilities. And you want to pick the tax option, and your account number is your roll number.
Can they do like multiple roll numbers?
We don't recommend that you put the total amount on just one roll.
Yeah.
Say you have a few of them, we recommend that you put every one in. And the reason for that is things are becoming very automated. And if you put a large amount on one roll, it's not going to be caught. And you're going to have a huge credit on one roll and then a bunch of others that are outstanding and are subject to penalty. So you want to, if say you have 5 different properties, you put in 5 different rolls and make the 5 different payments.
It's nice that we have all those options, that you can pay them online, that you can do the Kneehill Connect. And we also do have the drop box outside.
Yeah.
How does it work with checks again? If they're post dated or if we receive them by a certain date?
Yeah. So if you're mailing it in, you want to make sure that you put it in the mail before that 31st date of October. The post office will print a date on it. So you kind of want to make sure that's done. And if when the day that you bring it to the post office and they run it through is the date it's considered paid.
Okay.
So even if we get it sometime in November, you won't get penalties on your bill because it's considered paid the moment you bring it to the Canada Post.
Okay, yeah. So as soon as you mail it, it's paid. Okay, that is good to know. Speaking of property taxes and all that fun stuff, what services are funded through the municipal property taxes?
Like most municipalities, property taxes make up about 88% of our total revenues. So they really fund nearly all of our services and operations, including road maintenance, water and waste management, protective services, ag services, parks, planning and development. bunch of other smaller services that are not quite as big ticket items within the county.
Right. And when you say big ticket items, what would those be? Are there some that people may not realize?
One of the biggest big ticket items that people don't really realize we are making is contributions to reserves in our budget. Nearly a third of our annual operating budget actually goes into reserves, which are effectively the county's savings accounts. This provides funding for long-term maintenance and replacement of things like roads, bridges, water infrastructure, and buildings. Those contributions are critical to keeping the county sustainable in the long run.
How does the county balance the budget when revenues are limited?
There's a consistent focus on careful planning, prioritizing essential services, and looking for efficiencies wherever possible. We really take a long-term approach where we're setting aside reserves for future infrastructure needs. And this also avoids sharp tax increases down the road by making that long-term plan. It's always a balancing act, but we're committed to being responsible with public funds while maintaining the core services the community relies on.
So our taxes are dependent on our assessments. So if my home's value goes up, does it automatically mean my taxes will go up?
Not necessarily. So your property tax bill is based on two main factors. One is the assessed value, and the other is the municipal budget. These two factors set the municipal mill rate on your notification. How assessment works can be very confusing and not very clear. So if anyone wants to learn more, we have a great video on our website that's very informative on this topic.
Yes, and that's on the taxation and assessment page, I believe?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And I will put that link on our podcast page so that you can easily access it. So is the county in charge of how much we pay for things like the provincial education tax?
No, the county has actually no control over the amount owed for education tax. So the county is required by law to collect this tax on behalf of the province of Alberta. So the province sets the rate each year as part of its budget and then notifies the municipality of what must be collected. And then we remit that back to the province.
So we're just collecting it on their behalf, basically.
Exactly.
And we have no control over the amount or anything like that.
No, they set that themselves and then give us an amount. Then we have to collect it.
So take that up with them, I guess. Yes. If you get your tax notice in the mail and you see your assessment there and you don't really agree with it, like what is the process for appealing an assessment?
Well, what we recommend is if you get your notice and you don't agree with how you've been assessed, we recommend that you first contact the office. A lot of times people just need to have the breakdown of what all the assessed values to know what they're being assessed for. We also can put you through to our assessors. What you want to do is you want to contact us before the deadline on your notice. This year is August 6th.
August 6th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what we would do is put you in touch with we have contracted assessors. We would put you in touch with one of them. You have the right, if you disagree with it still, to fill out an application and go to the assessment review board. But we recommend that you come to us first because we answer a lot of questions before they ever have to pay any money or go to the board.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, and a lot of it can just be worked out by just giving us a quick call.
Yeah. So just kind of looking ahead financially, are tax increases expected in the next few years?
That really depends on the services that council decides to support and also how assessment shifts in the next few years. Depending on what services council supports, the budget can kind of go up in a year or go down in a year, which then relates to how much taxes have to be levied in any given year. And also how assessment shifts. So if residential grows, even if council might reduce the mill rate, which they've done for residential the last few years, you can still see an increase in your taxes based on the fact that your house value went up. However, and even actually furthermore, it depends on how non-residential assessment shifts and how everything is. So it's a little bit of a complicated answer, but given on a continuation of existing service levels and looking at the information collected during financial forecasting, I would say that modest tax increases can be expected in the next few years.
What are some of the long-term kind of financial challenges that we're facing here at the county?
There's a couple. For one, the county does a really good job of putting money aside for the future. But as we get more information in terms of asset management and develop a better understanding of our infrastructure gap, we might have some financial challenges in terms of looking at long-term sustainability and how we maintain all of our existing infrastructure. We also have waning support from the provincial government, and that comes in two forms. One is less support from grant programming for projects, and also happens when they download costs onto the county that weren't historically part of the county's responsibility. A good example of that is the police funding model that we're currently paying just under $500,000 a year for, which 5 years ago, maybe we weren't paying at all for.
Right.
The other piece is depending on how assessment shifts and how that affects our taxation revenues and what that looks like into the future. That applies for both how our assessment base looks, whether we get growth in residential or growth in non-residential or actual decline in one of those categories, and also can be affected again by provincial policy decisions on how they regulate assessment.
Again, that province, you take it up with them, right?
Yep.
So when it comes to all this, how can residents get involved and maybe provide their input on how the county's tax dollars are spent?
There's a couple ways. Engaging with your counselor is always a good way for your counselor to be sitting in that room when council meetings are happening and knowing what their residents are looking for. You can also engage in surveys when they're distributed and pay attention to the information that's published by the county. Read what's on the website, know what's included in the budget. There's a lot of good resources out there to know what's going on in the county.
Yeah, agreed. And this is a perfect little shameless plug, but we do have ratepayer evenings coming up and your council and staff will be there. So if you have any questions or you want to provide your input, please come out to those. June 12th in Huxley, June 19th at Horseshoe Canyon. So kind of on that note, what is one thing you wish every resident understood about municipal taxes?
One thing I wish that most residents understood about property taxes is that they're one of the few tools that we have to fund services, and that we stretch those dollars across everything from roads to emergency services to recreation. In addition, I think that it's important to recognize that your tax notice doesn't only collect municipal taxes. There are requisitions that the county collects, but we don't keep for our operations. So on a residential tax bill, the county actually only keeps 48% of that total bill.
Right.
52% relates to requisitions, and those go to the province or Kneehill housing. And then for farms and non-residential, the ratio is a little bit better. The county keeps 85% of that total bill, but still remits 15% for requisitions.
Right. That's so good to keep in mind. And so we did kind of talk about this a little, but where can people go if they have questions or they need help?
So if it's after hours, we have a lot of information listed on our website. But if that doesn't answer your questions, you can call during regular business hours, and our staff is always available to answer any questions.
Very helpful back there.
Very.
Yes. Awesome. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining me today. I know that you guys are always very busy, so we really appreciate it. And thank you for answering all of our questions. Stay tuned for our next episode, episode 6. Ooh, we're halfway through the year. We'll talk to you then.